Okay.
Hello everybody and welcome to Force In Unison Live, baby! Today we'll talk... Hello everybody and welcome to Force In Unison Live, baby!
What? So you're happy that we started on time?
Hello everybody. Oh yeah, we're really happy today. But no, today we'll talk about loot boxes. Today we're gonna give some shit to Shadow of War. But most importantly, today we're gonna have a little bit of fun, baby. Woo! We're here. There we go. Sorry, I'm doing the producer job again and moving all around. So, but we're set. We're ready to roll, baby.
Yeah, we're Van Halen. I'm Eddie, and he's Alex. He's the one on the drums. So.
Yeah, I got 3 legs. You want to find out, ladies? Call me. Anyway, hello YouTube land, and welcome to the Force In Unison Live Episode 7, right here at the Force In Unison Gaming Channel. I am your host, Dantes, and of course, joining me like always, the man, the myth, the legend, Caliones. How you doing, Caliones?
Hey, how you doing, Dantes? How you doing, everybody? Hello, PSV Xbox, and thank you for joining the stream. We're going to be talking about a couple of different topics, especially one that it seems like it's becoming like a recurring topic. It is a brand new. I mean, it is a new game that came out this year. It's still not officially out. It is on early access, but still, it's taking the world by storm. So we're going ahead and cover that out. But Dantes, go ahead and you do your rigmarole so we can get started on the topics.
So yeah, because I'm ready, baby. I'm ready today. I'm ready to put boot on asses today. And the name is Warner Brothers Entertainment. That's where my boot is going to go to. But let's start with a rigmarole. Thank you, everybody, for joining us at the Force In Unison Live Episode 7 right here at the Force In Unison Gaming Channel. Of course, remember to subscribe, like, and comment so you can make these 2 crazy MFs happy. Also, please remember that we do have a Nintendo podcast called the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast every Saturday, 9:30 Eastern Time. You can download that podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. Rate us over there so you can show up some love. Also, we do have a small Facebook page called at Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to chiguerosnews.com and give some click and love to my boy Caliones. With all that said, let's start the show with the first subject, which is me ranting about the fuckery of the video game industry. And what I'm talking about is basically Shadow of War just came out. I think it's today, right, Caliones?
Today, yes.
And a lot of the news, the hot topic has been loot boxes. So basically, you can, in Shadow of War, pay for in-game currency. And with that in-game currency, then you can buy some loot boxes where you can, in turn, get some special orcs to help you build your army or special weapons to build your character, right? And the issue, or the main issue a lot of people talking is that they're bringing basically a freemium type of system into a $60 AAA game. And at the same time, it is a single-player game. So we've seen these loot boxes creep up in the gaming industry, mostly for games like Overwatch, and shit like that. But now, let me put
what the marketplace would look like. We
got
this guy above us
Shadow
right now,
of War,
the headhunter.
where the developers try to sell you
so he's in charge. He's basically the shopkeeper
like I said,
of the
we've
market.
Been seeing this
So he's going to be the guy that's going to do all these lovely deals with us.
Right. And the first thing we want to do is we want to actually
Battlefront,
buy some of these loot chests that you guys can get. So we'll start with a silver loot chest. Now you guys can see that it costs 500 million, and that you get 2 pieces of gear. One's rare, and the other one, or at least
to me, the biggest issue with loot boxes is
so we'll first
it's
purchase
kind of like gambling. So basically, they're trying to get the suckers who like gambling
Oh, look at that. We actually got more than one. So we got an epic with that. With Gondori and Longbow from... Oh, that's awesome. 253 damage. You can see also you can destroy that for more Mirian. So if you didn't like that, which actually, interestingly, it costs 500 to get a loot chest, and we almost got 500 back.
Oh, wow.
Bargain. There we go, bargain. So that's a loot chest. And with that, you're able to use those bows. You can crush them for more Mirian. We also can go to silver war chests. And we're going to actually buy a bunch of these and open up a lot of these, because within these ones, you're going to get yourself
what is your entry
so we're going to go and buy 10 of these. This will be 10,000.
Zero.
And
then, you know, they have to make their money, which is
people are like, that is one weird. The guy doing this.
He loves it.
You know, spending this money.
So, all right. In this particular war chest, we got Mozu the Warlord. We have a reassignment orders, which is something we'll show you guys how to use today. And then we got Og the Devourer. So you can look at these guys. They are orcs that you would find from the Nemesis system when you're playing normally. Beast fodder, damaged by ranged attacks. Epic trait, great strength. Comes with a pack. He's a beast there. Cool dude. And let's actually keep opening up some chests so you guys can see more of these dudes.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, obviously one of the important things to note with all of these guys and all the purchases is you can get anything you're getting here through the course of playing as well, which is, okay, why go through the market and get the loot chest? I think one of the main reasons is adapting to your playstyle. Like, you either get people, we get people playing and going, I never get any gear because I never kill anyone because I have to dominate them and I have to make them my followers. So if you never want to kill anyone, you've got another way of getting them. Or I'm so into the gear, I just absolutely kill everybody because I have to pick up the gear. So how am I going to get followers? So it really gives you some flexibility on your playstyle to be able to mix in the marketplace, but you're really getting the same stuff that you would get in the open world.
They'll take your arm. Now they're trying to implement
honestly, one of the things too that I think is exciting is whenever we get these
it's trying to take all your money. It's like my favorite hobby.
So you can also get other various types of boosts. The Spoils of War boost we won't talk about specifically, but you could get something like an experience boost.
And that's where
I'm ranting right now. There we go, open X chest.
Don't buy
you can get like an experience boost, for example, which then you can use that and give yourself more experience.
I platted the game.
Oh, this is a good one. This particular is archer recruitment, so that you can give this to an orc and then they'll get the a gang of archers is something that follows them around.
Premium loot boxes should not be in a single
let's check out the next one. I think so. We had 10
out things that you used to get.
Oh yeah, these are.
It's just fun just opening these actually.
Honestly, yeah. Like it's
Forza 7
in their start using the trainings and stuff. That's one of my favorite parts, because it's like then you get to really customize your orc and make them.
It's really interesting, that decision, because obviously a big part of the Nemesis system is that these are living, breathing enemies that exist in this world, and we really deliberately never let you edit them like you would do in an RPG, because they're actually alive, you know, and they exist. But retraining them or assigning them a gang, you know, it still really fits within building on their personality, building their identity.
Video games have been
and I think you said we're going to show how the
40 years at least, on the retail with cartridges,
so another reminder, you can get legendary orcs from these silver war chests. We actually just got 2 epics in this one. You're guaranteed 1 epic, but this time we got 2. So and then we got a gang of defenders giving the follower gang.
I mean, we've already talked about it on one of the first podcasts where
it's just as a reminder for everybody, this is Myriad, and this one costs 1,000 Myriad. You get Myriad playing the game. Missions,
$85 because
killing treasure orcs,
yes, the Nintendo tax,
having the Marauder tribe as your overlord, as Mike talked about earlier.
If you look at those games now, they're strategically almost create like a $59.99. So yes,
if that's really
the companies are not.
Yeah, again, if you want, it's a nice reason to
you would think that they're not making as much profit.
Your Marauder tribe overlords as well, you know, all sorts of things.
Nowadays is Blu-rays.
This is a fun one. This is the epic training. So you know how you guys get there's bonus traits in these epic orcs. So you can also give guys these epic traits, and we actually just got one of the epic trainings so that we could
game was made by a single person. Then
so now we've opened 10. We've shown you guys what 10 of them look like. But we're going to take this opportunity to open up some of these other war chests, and I'll leave this to Mike now to discuss a little bit about how you get these war chests.
So yes, you have more people.
Yeah, so the gold war chest and of course the gold loot chest fundamentally work in the same way, just larger with some increasing sort of levels of rarity of what you can guarantee you're going to find in them, and they are the ones that you can purchase using the premium currency, so you can purchase gold.
For this, that, or whatever. Then
let's
you
open
have
up a gold one.
Like
so gold war
Sony,
chests
where
slightly
they have
bigger, as you mentioned,
with specific games.
Guaranteed
so,
legendary.
A game like
and then you get 2 training orders. And
for example, they have exclusive marketing rights with Sony, so they're already making money.
Yeah, so it is just the quantity and quality. There is nothing that's exclusive or that you can only get
you
behind
mentioned it, they probably already have something. So they, before the game even comes out, they're already making money.
So let's go ahead and do Mithril 1 as well.
Yes, you have the free-to-play games. They're more abundant when it comes to the smartphone market. And yes, they're like free to play. Don't pay anything. Then you pay later on if you want to.
The Mithril is guaranteed 4 legendaries and a legendary training, so you can make any orc that you like into a legendary.
You're already paying $60 for the game. It's not $2.99, $4.99, $10.99, or whatever.
Yes.
You're paying $60 for the game.
Let's go and have a look at what some of the
breaking down
traits
everything.
Some of these guys.
On
we'll do a little bit more.
So they've got 2 epic traits. This is where that can be really valuable with these guys is actually when you well, there's a couple of things the legendaries are really useful for. So they've got more epic traits, which is fantastic if you're really trying to optimize and defend your fortress, as well as just having the most kind of kick-ass soldiers. But of course, the legendary guys, if they die, if heaven forbid one of your legendary followers dies, you've now got a piece of legendary gear as well.
And I'm okay with DLC as long as you have the full game on the cartridge or on the CD.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing with the Nemesis system. Orcs are obviously amazing in their own right as followers, but orcs are loot as well. So you can always break things down from the follower down to the gear, down to the Myriad. So that's where it really, I guess, the economy.
And even worse with the loot boxes and all of that, because they're purposely not including the full game. And they
so the featured chests, these are really fun. So these are basically, if there's something particular you want, like you're trying to build a particular sort of army or followers, or you just want to theme things, we'll periodically release different themed chests. So
thousands of dollars to get those additional weapons.
So bounty earners as well, looking to kill players. You can sometimes have a theme. It's going to be enemies, it's going to be Ologs, it's going to be assassins, it's going to be fire weapons. But just if you're really trying to customize your army, these guys can be
this is not going to stop. This is going to continue, and it's
only going to get worse. So now that we've shown you guys how to open up chests and that kind of thing, let's take an opportunity to look a little bit where you get these guys.
We don't do something right now.
So you see we're on unopened chests right there, which is where we grab chests if you buy a large amount.
It all started.
Access your boosts here, the experience boosts or the spoils of war ones. And then you have your garrison, which is where your followers are.
You have to pay for online, right?
And the important thing with the garrison, well, there's a number of important things. One, it's where we can see we're keeping all of our common, epic, legendary orcs until they deploy. But also, from here, you're able to deploy those orcs into any one of your regions as well. Again, if you're really trying to customize
what happened when Grand Theft Auto tried to take away mods from the PC community, they stand together and
go ahead and give us a row.
What do they have now? They have their
go ahead and give us a row and then a column real quick. And we want to and just the first person to say like row 1.4 or something, we'll go to that and we'll show you something kind of fun that you can do in the
or a group of them that they're saying, oh, it's
specifically around the hold for destroy for
you don't have to pay.
Since we have a legendary guy, we'll show you guys one of them. And then middle 3 was the one that grabbed. So first we're gonna kill let's see, middle 3. So we're gonna kill this guy.
At some point, that is gonna come into. Now you're gonna need loot boxes to even finish the game.
And yes, not the Karagor too.
You're right.
That just seemed gratuitous.
So as you guys can see, also you get your gear from that, and then you can immediately crush it back if you so desire.
And the grinding is not as
235 gear is about 1/5 of
there's a little bit of grinding.
That actual war chest had. So
a real ending faster.
Rest in peace, Karagor. Poor Carrie. And let's do a legendary one too, so people can see a legendary grab.
Talking to you with that sweet voice.
We'll grab this guy, but they'll tell first one on the bottom row that you guys want to kill.
We'll kill real quick. That money.
Cloak of Horrors. I'm not going to show you guys too much on that one though, because it's legendary. We'll let you guys discover it. Let's see. Press F for respects. Yes. F to pay respects.
Yes, I would, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it with Shadow
first
War.
As
you know, if I play that game, Calione, it's gonna be used.
2 I just saw was the one that was like Grom the Bowmaster.
Cost me like $10 or something to
destroy.
Because I am not
legendary
WV.
alt gear also
is one of the worst publishers.
Miriam. So if you grab one of these from the silver loot chest, it's possible you can just be like, I don't like this guy. Grab this and immediately crush for another war chest.
Entertainment has the rights for Batman Arkham.
Let's go ahead and put one of these guys into our hierarchies.
Worse and worse with Batman
so
Arkham
we're gonna grab
as the games went through with the
we'll start with this guy
season pass, DLC, and I imagine if there was a new Arkham coming in, you will see this bullshit of loot boxes in it. Because Shadow of War does not need, if it doesn't affect the game, why do you put it? Why do you put it? For taking advantage of the suckers.
And so we're gonna now do a little bit of a host face-to-face because we want to keep something.
You don't need that much money.
They're just but what we now want to show you guys. That face. Oh, I know, it's a great face. But now what we want to show you guys.
You know what? Gaming is one of the entertainments.
Is the training.
They don't have to pay.
Because I think that's going to be pretty fun. So now this guy lives in Nerman.
Developers or voice actors.
And actually, I think he's on a mission already. He's on a mission already.
On how well
the game we're going to real quick go to one of these guys with that one and show you, which is okay, but you go in command.
The publishers.
Yeah, so no royalties.
Yeah, the training
all the money goes to the publisher.
Yeah. So you want to talk again a little bit more about the
this bullshit?
Yeah, so basically, these are ways that you can customize and upgrade and personalize any of your followers. So if you wanted to give them all Archer gangs, or in this case, battle trading to upgrade them, if you want to give them different elements. Oh, cool. So yeah, you just want them to level up.
Why the hell take
these are really cool ways to be able to develop your
and that is what's happening right now. And if you let it happen, if you let it go through, it will get
actually,
worse
guys, when you keep
worse
seeing these
and
options
worse.
pop up,
When at
go
some
ahead and
point,
just
everything
put numbers in on what one you want us to do, and we'll just whatever quick one I see in there, we'll go ahead and do, just so you guys can kind of like make an orc with us real quick if you'd like to.
It's gonna be.
But let's actually make him our bodyguard real quick.
It started with, oh, I'm getting better service with Microsoft and Xbox Live, even though they were, you know what they were doing in the 360 era?
What are we doing behind the curtain?
Servers. They were not doing dedicated servers.
Back in the Nerden. So let's go ahead
and you were paying for that shit.
Yes, I
did. They had Netflix behind the paywall, and they had a lot of apps behind the paywall. Because
he's ready to summon that gang.
Took it,
right, so let's,
it became the norm.
Gonna walk in real quick and see if he can
decided to put it, which I'm still don't forgive him for that because I believe that online should be free, and now Nintendo's doing it. And how it started? Because tell me, why doesn't Steam?
He'll run off and do his thing.
Oh, he'll snipe him from here.
Oh yeah, that's right, because an archer.
So an archer as a bodyguard, if you're in stealth, is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that's and he should pull out his.
Something is wrong.
Or he's going to in a second.
Again,
go kill that one.
Wrap it, and I'll let Calione speak with this fuckery. But
let's see, 1-6.
You're letting.
I just got hit. I was looking at chat. I'm waiting for him to do his summon thing. If he doesn't do it,
he's got into combat a bit here.
Right.
Just to take advantage. NBA 2K is another example.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna take an opportunity to hide us again and then give him like whatever you guys actually asked for.
And I'm scared of what's gonna happen in the next 5 years. And you know what? If the gaming industry becomes a full micro,
I know, I didn't actually think about that.
I'll go back, I'll turn on my Retron 5.
Go ahead, that's cool. Give him another training. Let's give him something that's a little, let's see, I'm seeing a lot of 6s, so I'm assuming that's one, 2, 3, 4. Fire. Yeah, we'll do the fire weapon now.
I have to go through this shit. I just thank God the Xenoblade Chronicles doesn't have this shit. But if Xenoblade Chronicles tried to do this bullshit with loot boxes, I would not be buying Xenoblade Chronicles.
So does the crossbow, actually.
That's what I'm saying. That's the stand I'm saying.
Oh, there we go. So he's going to be able to shoot fire now for one moment.
And I am scared about The Last of Us 2.
This reminds me a little bit of almost like a Scooby-Doo transfer.
Because Last of Us 1 had microtransactions.
Or it's going to be a piece on that game. I'm in a last chance.
You really could go to the multiplayer.
That's okay.
You did not need
to
buy the extras to compete in the multiplayer.
Oh, look, everybody's on fire.
Everywhere. Well done.
Good job.
And he's enraged.
What is going to be Last of Us in 2019? Is it going to have this fucker?
Nice. Oh, he's fighting another dude, too.
And I'm scared because I love The Last of Us.
And he's standing in his own fire, which is enraging him. He's a legend.
He is a legend. That is pretty cool. So now everybody's attacking us, though. So let's go ahead and pull back out to us.
The thing I really like with these is the fact that you're not totally reliant on the randomness of the Nemesis system. You can really create a theme across your whole army.
Fire guys, or if you want to do something like, I mean, we haven't seen our gang necessarily pop up, but you can do like the Mighty Savages, so now even more powerful. Or you can do the immediate legendary training.
And then kill him for loot.
And kill him for loot, exactly. Actually, if we'll put some more guys in here in a second, but
$5 for the character.
See if we can find
they did say that the $5 were going to be donated to completely to this cause or to his family.
So,
but there were a couple of states in
okay, we'll do legendary in a second.
They don't support that, so they whoever lived in those states and paid for the $5, the family wasn't going to get that. the game is sold worldwide, so
I'm going to take this opportunity to put some more guys
for whatever sales they made online. So
yeah,
specifically,
let's go ahead and put a couple more of
because
these
they weren't gonna mash it or any of that.
The pickler, back in Nernan.
They did go back on that and they made it free, but still it was because of the fan outcry when they announced it, and that's a good thing.
We will add another guy real quick.
Your voices were heard.
The Elder.
The company backtracked.
And so we have to put a bunch of guys in because I want to show you guys the legendary bit.
You need to
stop but sometimes I go on the missions, so I wanted to make sure to give you guys that.
The games we're gonna go into the episodic because like
once again,
a couple years ago we started getting an episodic game. So we'll get like episode 1, 2, 3, 4 until you get a full game.
Batman to Scooby-Doo, as long as you're staying within the Warner Brothers
breaking
family.
the games up to make more money, but no.
Perfect. Snafu the Pickler, training orders. Let's go ahead and give him advanced legendary training. You can also do this with someone who is just in common as opposed to an epic. But we're doing epic right now because I want to show you guys that you can also do it to an epic.
I know that you can be master PC race and pretty tough on people, but I really do admire you because
I love that
he's
the best sandwiches
He's the most amazing pickler
and you guys
ever.
Usually
so let's say like
things
we've
done.
now put this guy here. What if we wanted to put him in Saragossa? How would I do that?
Nintendo,
you would
Sony,
go
Microsoft,
into the command and you would give him the
fight for what is right.
redeployment.
Do not support these companies that do this.
Reassignment order. That's going to move him back into the garrison.
I'm on the same boat as you, so this is not
once
something
he's
we're
back
going
in
to
the
argue.
garrison,
He's so sad.
And this needs to change before it gets worse.
Nope.
It will
from here, because there's an empty slot, that gives you a shortcut straight to the market just by clicking the right stick.
Agreed. I'm done.
He's still washing his hands. There just needs to be more soap in water.
More soap.
Then we go down to our legendary guys, where he should be easy to find, and there he is.
And I got big
waiting for his next command.
Because I eat all the chicken.
And now,
anyway,
we can just go on the D-pad and we can just go through any of the regions we have and redeploy him into that region. So of course, that would only apply to someone you'd gotten through the market. You could do that to any one of your orcs.
Right. Just do a quick
I think the round is over.
Batman check.
Yes.
We're back. Woo! Here we go. We're back.
But hey, I'm going to give you another one just so you can start ranting away again. And so we're going to pick up with the news. We picked out a couple of news from the week. We are purposely not including Nintendo news for the most part.
We got some.
We do have,
there's some.
I mean, we have some, but not a lot of them because we already have the Getting and Get On Nintendo podcast. So, and that's
every Saturday.
Every Saturday at
Eastern
9:30 p.m. So, look for Nintendo fans, go ahead and watch those, or for anybody. Yeah, we can use views from anybody. It doesn't matter. But we're going to start with the first one, and it is basically Knack 2, the almighty Knack 2, released in Japan.
The best game ever.
The best game ever. And somehow they're not supporting it. It's like down 99% from the original, something like that. It's so incredibly low, and it's almost laughable how less is sold. So should this be a cause of concern? Because the game itself only sold 2,100 copies in Japan, and that's a drop of almost 320,000 copies from the original. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Pick that up.
So the Japan numbers are a little bit skewed because they're getting compared with the pack-in Knack 1. If Knack 1 wasn't a pack-in, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the first Knack wouldn't sell that much. Honestly, in Japan anyway. Just me, you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, we have to admit that Knack 1 sold because it was the only thing there on PlayStation. I think a lot of people didn't know that there was a jam there called Resogun. That was the game that you should be buying during the launch of the PS4, not that shit. Knack. And let me clarify, Knack is not a bad game. I platted the first Knack, again, because there was nothing. But I platted the first Knack, and I think it's not a bad game. And I hear that Knack 2 is, better. Let me see what's the Metacritic score for Knack 2. Let me see. Anyway.
I think it's something like low 70s or something like that, I believe.
Knack 2. So Knack 2, Knack 1 was 54 on the Metacritic. Knack 2 has a great Metacritic of 69. Love 69. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It was a launch game. And Knack, you know, and I forgot that I was gonna show, you know, I traded off Knack. Let's do that while we talk about Knack. See, this is what happens when I have to handle the keyboard Caliones.
Well,
it's right there. We're showing the trailer to Knack. Now we're showing the trailer to Knack. But
well, I'll give you, just to give a little perspective when it comes to Knack and the sales. Knack, correct me if I'm wrong, but it did release at $40, right?
Yeah, it did. It did release at $40. Okay. That's how bad it is, and no one wants it.
Yeah. Another game that released at $40 was the Crash Bandicoot and Insane Trilogy. Yep. And that one sold on the first week in Japan 27,000 copies.
Okay.
So you're going from 27,000 copies from Crash to the almighty Knack, which only sold 2,100 copies. So that's a difference of 25,000 copies. So it's, because we cannot really judge it based on the sales on the first one. Like you say, it was a packing game, so it's not really fair to include it. But yes, Crash Bandicoot sold 27,000 on the first week. It sold 9,600 on the second week, and it sold 5,800 on the third week. So that's Japan. Japan, when it comes to these kind of games, it's not really a big seller. Japan is very finicky market, and they have their own pre-selected games that they like to support. There's a couple of new games that they support, but most of them are like very Japanese games. There's hardly any games from the West or anywhere else. And Knack, you can't really call it a Japanese game. It's more towards the Western market. But PSV Xbox saying that Knack sucks. Is obviously he hasn't played it. It's one of the top 10 games ever.
Sure. I would say that for sure. Hey, we're back.
But yeah.
Go ahead, Caleb.
No, just closing out with the sales, so that way people can get some perspective and see how it compares with another $40 game that released a couple of months ago.
Well, there was another masterpiece releasing $40 called Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
Yeah, but that's not fair. I'm not gonna.
But I'm just saying that it's tough. It's tough because the first Knack, I think it's sold because it was a early game. That's it, and that's why. And give credit to Sony. Sony give chances. Sony give chances to weird games, like that games that you wouldn't expect to be sold. At least they try to find their I guess their Mario. I guess you could call it that way. But you're right. Platformers are not as it used to be. They're not as huge. And Japan likes more RPG type of games, mobile games. So yeah, I understand why Knack. And maybe Knack sold better on the States. We haven't seen the MPD numbers to know, but I think the Japan shows a trend. So anyway, Kyle, let's go to the next news.
I was gonna say for Knack, the original one, it sold 440,000 copies in the U.S., 680,000 copies in Europe. It ended up selling like 4,200 in Japan at the end of it. Knack 2, they haven't really said the copies sold, so we don't have numbers for those. But that's something that we can revisit once we have the numbers for MPD numbers.
Well, we'll see. Let's do this. When Mario Odyssey comes out, we'll compare the sale numbers.
Okay. Yeah. They're going to be pretty much even.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, but in other news, we have Sony trying to give second life to one of their consoles, or basically talking about the PlayStation VR. The demos are returning to retailers, so it's going to be hitting Best Buy stores. It's going to be hitting GameStop stores, and that should already happen. So if you have walked into one of those, there's a chance that you already saw one of the demo units out. So if you did, post it on there, tells your experience. Dantes, you have the PSVR, right? So you can talk about the unit itself. I haven't personally played it or used it, so I cannot really comment on that, except for what I read online and from other people's comments and experiences. But tell us about the PSVR and how awesome it is and why everybody needs to have one.
I won't say that everybody needs to have one. I think it's pretty cool, but I think it's an early stage tech. So what I mean with that is that it is not there yet. I think next generation, the PSVR could be something big, but right now it's not there yet. It is still give you great experiences. Like when my mom came to visit here, and I put the Shark Tank. Oh, she was screaming. She was like scared because it immerses you in the game. The problem is that it's not easy to set up. Like there's a lot of cables, and it's a mess to set up. So for me, I want to play a couple of VR games that I have, but every time I have to think about setting it up, I go like, oh, I don't feel like it now. So I think if Sony can streamline the setup for the next gen of PSVR, they could be better. The other piece of it is the limiting movement. You don't have big movement with this one compared to Oculus and Vive. But again, because it is a more mainstream VR, right? Something that you could buy easily and get your hands on. You don't need a strong PC to run. But every experience I have had, I played a couple of games in VR. They were fun, and I'm planning to play at least one more VR game before the year ends, which is Robinson: The Journey, which a lot of people say is a really good VR game. It's a complete full game. It's not an experience. It is a full game, right? So. But again, every time I try to play it, I think about it, I'm like, oh, I need to set up all these cables, and I don't do it. So that's the piece I think it hurts the PlayStation VR, but it's a good experience. I would recommend to try it out. Go to the GameStop, go to Best Buy, try it out, and if you like it, buy it. We need to support it. At least Sony's not throwing it in the trash like they've done in the past with like the Move and the Vita and shit like that. So it seems like they're trying. And there's good games coming. Until Dawn prequel is going to be VR. All VR. That's going to be scary as shit. So I'm looking forward to that. Support Supermassive Games. But yeah, VR, I like it. You should try it. At least try it. Give it a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, and also Bethesda is supporting the format. They're bringing Doom VR. They're bringing I think Wolfenstein or Fallout VR. So they're bringing VR games. So they're going full on when it comes to supporting the format. But okay, this is the problem that I have with the current VR setup. Okay, yes, you have the two separate controllers. You have the headset. You can move freely when it comes to your hand, but the problem is movement of your feet. So whenever you're trying to move forward, back, side to side, your movement is predicated on kind of like clicking on the ground and automatically being transported over to that section. There's a few games or hardly any game at all where you have free movement of your character. So I would feel much better if you could move your feet you can move your hands by moving your hands like this, moving the feet with the controller, and then moving your eyesight by looking around. So that's something that they need to work on. It seems like what they've done for now, it's causing people to be nauseated when it comes to free movement, and that's why they're keeping it to where you can click and automatically be transported. So, but that's one of the things that as VR is all about being immersion. You need to be immersed in the game, but movement and not having free movement takes away from it, and that's one of the standstill. And like you said as well, the cables. You have so many cables, and that's another thing that keeps people from fully enjoying VR. So when they come to finally having something where it doesn't require any cables, where it's going to be either via Wi-Fi direct or whatever it is that they can make a more seamless connection, kind of like how the on the Wii U the signal or the display was transported over to the Wii U gamepad, and it basically was real time when it came to the TV and the display on the gamepad. It was almost seamless, so you would not see any lag or anything, at least to the naked eye. So when they finally can do something like that with the VR, that's when it's going to take off. But in the meantime, like you said, it is tech. They're introducing people to it, and they're experimenting with it. So hopefully they're going to get to the point where the wires and all of that are not going to be needed. But we're still not there. But we could be pretty soon. So I believe either Microsoft or one of the developers, they're working on kind of like a cable-less VR headset. So that's going to be one of the things that will have to take off. Also, if they can put the sensors around the room so they know where you're standing. So if you move around, it's going to recognize your movement. And so, that way you don't slam into a wall or something. So that's going to be something else. But to the capacity that it is right now, it is kind of limited. It is growing. It is getting better. But hopefully sometime soon we'll get there.
Yep. The only thing I'm going to add is that it's better than the Virtual Boy. Anyway, go to the next piece of news.
But still, I want the Virtual Boy as part of the Virtual Console of the Nintendo Switch, and they can put the VR headset with the Switch console, and you already got the Joy-Cons. So for the Virtual Boys and those type of graphics, it's going to be perfect. So just do it, Nintendo. Just do it.
Anyway, go to the next one.
Okay, so going over to the next piece of news, and we are talking about John Kodera is the new PlayStation president and CEO. Andrew House he's been said to be pursuing new challenges. So can you please tell people what those new challenges actually mean?
It means he probably found a better job. When you become a CEO or a president or anything like that in companies, Caleones, your lifespan is short. And I'm surprised he lasted 5 years, honestly. So I think Andrew House did a great job. He's still staying as chairman. He's kind of doing like Jack Trenton, who stayed a little bit longer after he decided to quit and move on with his career, where he's staying and then, helping the transition. So it seems like the breakup, if you call it that, is fine. It's not, throwing mud or anything like that to that extent. But I am concerned. I mean, Andrew House, again, did a great job. He was part of president of PlayStation, the best years the PlayStation is having right now. And at the same time, John Kodera, whatever his last name is, he comes from the online realm. So, this person could be more of a services type of guy, which is kind of what Microsoft is doing now, trying to make games be more services. Hey, Forza 7 is a perfect example of that, right? So I'm just scared that this guy will focus on services more than the PlayStation itself.
Well, I'm not sure if it's going to be necessarily just services, but you got to think like gamers and people are mostly buying games digitally now. I know that you have a wall full of games on the background, so you buy, of course, physical. When it comes to me, I mostly buy physical, except on the Switch that most of the indie games and smaller games are digital, so I'm forced to buy it that way, and I'm okay with it because I don't have to carry so many cartridges around. But digital is the way of the future. I think Ubisoft did say something like 75 or 80% of their game sales were digital. So they're moving away from the physical, and that's what people, as a market itself, they're moving away from as well. So when it comes to Andrew House leaving, maybe another reason why he's leaving is because he said that the handheld market is not really a viable market anymore. And then you see the Nintendo Switch having all this success. So maybe the investors behind Sony, they're wanting the company to go with the Vita 2 and try to have another handheld. So, I mean, who knows what the rationale is with the move. Either way, we know that John Kodera, he's been with the company before. He's been, like kind of in like that role before as well, and he's been successful with the PSN and all of that. So it seems like they're okay. But the biggest question is, how is it that Mr. Ryan is still working with the company?
I don't know. He's just a dumbass like Aaron Greenberg. I mean, he's still also higher. He seems like companies always have one knucklehead, so I think that's not going to change. I think hopefully Jim has stayed quiet. That's better. And Aaron Greenberg still speaks shit. Like what Aaron says I think it was like a month ago, he said that they have the best exclusives. So, it's just, how it is. It's just stupid shit like that. But anyway, I'll miss Andrew House. I think he always did a good job presenting. Hopefully, at least he'll show up this year's PSX, which we'll be covering right here at the Force In Unison Gaming channel this December.
The PSX is going to be his swan song, so he should be there. Hopefully, he will be, and that way everybody can say a proper goodbye to him. But it's going to be interesting. Does Kodera seem to you like somebody Kodera seems to you like somebody that can command the stage, be on the stage, and command people's attention, or do you think it's somebody else is going to have to step in?
I don't know, because what's his name? Layton. I forgot his name. Last name Layton. Anyway, at first he looked awkward at the stage, and he got better. So I mean, maybe John will do the same. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay, well, then moving along, we're gonna go with the other news, and it's the Cuphead has finally come out, and it has surpassed 125,000 copies sold on Steam, and that was just in 4 days. Cuphead, if people don't know about it, it is an indie game. It is reminiscent to the old like 1920s, 1930s cartoons, and I can't say enough that the art style is amazing, and how the how the game moves, the characters and everything, the animation is some of the best I've ever seen. So what can you tell me about the game, and do you feel surprised, or are you surprised about the sales?
No, I'm not, because I mean, Xbox guys are hungry for exclusives. But at the same time, you see the sales for Steam, and shows you the PC gamers are liking the game a lot, right? So, I will buy it. It's just that there's so many games on my backlog right now that I haven't played, but the game looks interesting to me. It reminds me of the old Contra games. Hey, we're back. It reminds me of our hey, Randy, what's up? It reminds me of the old Contra games. So if you play Contra in the 80s, baby, that's what Cuphead reminds me. So I'm looking forward to playing it. I'll buy it in Steam and see what happens, and hopefully have fun with it. Maybe Caliones and I will do a challenge and see who gets farther in Cuphead, since everybody keeps saying that the game is really hard. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm afraid to do a live stream on the game, because I don't want to spend the first like 25 minutes trying to beat the introductory stage, like one of the journalists.
I don't think you'll have that problem. I mean, we both of us are a little bit bad in gaming, but we're not that bad, honestly.
Yeah. Well, says the ex Best Buy champion. But yeah. Anyways, as far as Cuphead goes, it does have an 86 Metacritic score on the Xbox One. It has an 88 Metacritic on PC. So it is not just a hyped up game. There's a lot of substance, and the game is really good, and it's only $20. So I mean, the game is great value, but not only on the money side, but the production value of the game is off the chart. So I know that Nintendo fans, we're kind of we're doing pretty good, because we had Steam World Dig 2 just come out. We had Stardew Valley come out as well. So we had a couple of games that Golf Story. It came out as well. So we've had a couple of good games, indie games coming out. But Cuphead, so far it's a PC and Xbox One exclusive. And if you have that console, it is worth picking it up. So do yourself a favor, only $20. Go ahead and get it.
Yep.
Okay, and
I was just looking at the next game. I think you're moving to the next game, right? Battle Chasers.
Yes, I was kind of like, I know I'm really excited about this one, but at the same time, I'm kind of disappointed, because I really want to get it on the Nintendo Switch. It's already out. I really want to play it. I have the Xbox on as well, so I wouldn't get it there just to play it, but I'm forcing myself to play it on the Switch, because I also got it pre-ordered, and I feel like that's the way to go with this game. But
so I'm showing a little bit of gameplay right now for Battle Chasers. So the reason we wanted to talk just a little bit is just to give it a little bit of love, because it seems that a lot of people are forgetting about this game, because there's a lot of big games that are just coming out. And Battle Chasers has a 76 Metacritic score. That's a good score. I mean, Darksiders had a 79, somewhere to that extent, and I love Darksiders. So Battle Chasers, it's an old school RPG dungeon crawler. The dungeons are randomized, right, Caliones? And so every time you go into it, you're experiencing something new. And then the battle system is really old school turn-based RPG with a little bit of action in it, right? So again, I just wanted to give a plug to Battle Chasers. I think this game deserves a little bit more love. Caliones introduced me to Battle Chasers when we were in college, and I read the comics, and it was really a really good read. Again, remind me of the old school RPGs, and because I was a huge fan of RPGs, I really gravitated to Battle Chasers. Now, in today's world, probably that Red Sonja wouldn't pass by with those big tits. But you know, hey, during the early 2000s, everybody liked big tits. Now I guess everybody likes flat chested. Anyway, but yeah, I wanna give some props to Battle Chasers. I'll let Caliones, because Caliones is the resident fanboy of Battle Chasers. So go ahead, Caliones.
So, well, I mean, just to kind of like keep it brief, the game is, is receiving really good scores. A lot of people are praising it. It's not necessarily just mixed, but high scores as well. But the good thing about the game is, aside from the characters, it does introduce new characters to the team as well. And there's going to be a companions issues 10, 11, and 12 to close out a Garrison story arc from the comics and close out the other comics as well. So there's 9 issues already out. 10, 11, and 12 are going to be out, sometime early next year. So if you haven't read the comics before, it is one of the best fantasy stories ever to grace comics. Same thing as the art style. The art style is kind of like a fusion mix comic book and manga style. So which Joe Madura is one of the best, if not the best ever to do it, and certainly one of my top 2 favorite comic book artists, alongside him and Todd McFarlane as well from Spawn. But there will be 3 more comics to close out the story arcs. So there's going to be a 12 in total, and this feels like a great introduction to the series, to the characters, and in itself, it is a good RPG game, old school RPG game. So this is another one that is getting good scores, and you can go ahead and pick it up as well. But yep, if not, I'll go ahead and stop myself because I'm going to continue talking about the game. So I will be moving on to the next story, and this one is about PlayerUnknown's Battleground. And first, this is something that happened earlier last week. There were talks that PlayerUnknown was in talks with Sony about bringing a PUBG to the PS4 after its Xbox launch. So we're going to break down this into different parts when it comes to this story. So I'm going to let you talk about this before we move on to the second portion of this story.
Sure. So there's, I don't know if the second portion is the Xbox portion, right, Caliones?
The second portion is going to be, well, it's actually how many copies it's sold.
Okay, so I'll mix both.
Yeah, but you can mix it up. Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
you
so
can mix it up.
There is a story going around that Bluehole was talking to Sony, trying to see if they can get PUBG into PlayStation, and then the same week another story came out saying the PUBG was also talking to Xbox to extend the exclusivity. In my opinion, Bluehole is just playing both sides. He's probably saying, "Hey, show me that money." Like we were talking about, Shadow of War and WB. They make deals even ahead of the game release, so they make sure that they make that money. And PUBG is a big game. It's sold, where Caliones is gonna go next. It's sold over 13 million units. So
it surpassed the 13 million copies sold. So it's doing fantastic.
It's a big game. It's a big game. So I think to me this story is easy, as in Bluehole is just playing the game. It's playing the field. Hey, it's like when you're dating someone and you got another girl or a boy, whatever, and you don't know what to choose. You play both sides. Bad example, but this is what Bluehole is doing. Is saying, hey, who's giving me that money? Anyway, Caliones, go ahead.
Well, okay. I'll say this, like. That we've already talked about this game before. I think the first time we talked about it was like 7 million copies sold. It's already over 13 million, so it just keeps selling like crazy. But I kept saying, Microsoft, you need to make it an exclusive. Pay whatever it is, making it exclusive, and it sounds like it may not necessarily be full-on exclusive for the Xbox, but at least extending the period of when the game is going to be available for any other console. So maybe it's going to be a year, it's going to be longer, but it seems like Microsoft is intent on keeping this one to themselves for as long as possible. And if they can, they have to put the money in and somehow grab it and make it a full-on exclusive, because if this game launches for the Xbox One X on the same day, it's gonna sell massively. I mean, and you can count on the Xbox One X as the sales of it either doubling or tripling just because of this single game. So you don't people understand, like a good comparison is, for example, Fortnite. Fortnite back in August, I think they had like 1 million users on the game, and it's a game that you pay $39.99 for it, so it's not free. Then they announced that they were gonna add a battle royale mode to the game, and then the sales doubled to like 2 million. Then they finally released the battle royale mode, which is, yeah, the mode itself is free, but the game is $39.99. And then they went all the way up to like over 7 million sold. So the battle royale is, it's crazy. It's kind of like I mean, even crazier than Overwatch. Overwatch, it has been selling like crazy, and that's one of those hero shooters. But the battle royale seems to be the it factor now when it comes to the games. Yeah, PSV, Xbox. Yeah, go ahead and try it out. It's still on early access on PC, but it should be launching, I believe, on November 7th for the Xbox. If it doesn't, it's going to be a mistake by Microsoft. They need to have it on day one for the Xbox One X. But yeah, even if you want to get a good, I mean, yeah, kind of like a good example of what the Battle Royale is all about, you can download the Battle Royale mode for Fortnite, either on PS4 or Xbox. And it's free for the Battle Royale portion of it. So that way you can get a sense of what it is. But yeah, it keeps something like crazy, and Microsoft is doing the right thing to keep it as an exclusive for as long as possible.
Okay, go to the next one, Caliones.
Okay, and we're going to be going up to the next one, and it is Final Fantasy 15 gets new update, adding story events for Chapter 12. So you have been, talking about how you kind of like regret buying the game first when it came out. You should have waited when all the content and everything had released, and adding more story to Chapter 12. So tell us about, if you know more or less like what story elements they added, what was missing, and how do you feel about this?
I mean, the game had a lot of holes in the plot, so I mean, I don't know what they're adding. I know Chapter 13 was really bad with plot holes, but I don't know, it could be better now. That's what I'm saying, that I'm regretting playing Final Fantasy 15 so early, because I could have a different experience, a different way of I think of Final Fantasy 15. Because right now, if you ask me, Final Fantasy 15 is an okay game. It does not belong in the same echelon as Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, even 10. I would say even 12, in a sense, right? So I would say that it's not a bad game. It's just not a great game with all standards. If you use all Square RPGs, it's just not that great of a game. But it could be better now, and it could maybe get into that legendary status if I play it again with all the content, and it would be better. But it's like first impressions. First impressions is all of it, right, Caliones? So it's probably not that great now to try to play it. I'm not gonna have the same experience.
Yeah, but it depends, because I mean, you can technically catalog this one as well, we went on our first date. The first date wasn't as good. She looks hot, but she's not really that smart. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it another chance just to try to see if maybe she learned new tricks or something like that. I don't know. So I mean, you can say about the game.
Let's leave it there, Caliones. Let's go to the next piece of news.
Well, the next one is Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle has been a game changer for traditionally supporting studio of Ubisoft Milan. What this tells you is, okay, so Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle came out. It has been a massive success. I haven't really heard about the game sales because it had already come out from when the MPD was charting. So I'm really looking forward to knowing about the final worldwide sales of the game. But it's made such an impression on the studio and on the company that they're actually expanding. They're hiring more people, and that department, or that's the company section, it's getting even bigger and bigger. So they were talking about, I guess, hiring right away like 20 more people, but they are thinking about adding like 100 more. So we'll see how it keeps expanding, and also if this is going to be something that Ubisoft Milan and Nintendo are going to continue in doing. Maybe they're going to work on sequels. Maybe Nintendo is going to give them different IPs to play with. But it's been all great news except for the original reveal when a lot of people bashed it and it made the Ubisoft man cry. But afterwards. After E3 and they showed everything, everything has been positive and it has been a great success.
Hey, good game is a good game no matter what. I'm one of the first ones that I bashed it. I admit it. I still not a huge fan. Like I told Caliones, I wish it was just Mario characters and I would take away the rabbits out of the game and it would be even better for me. But it's not a bad game. It's not a bad game. I know I've been playing it slow, but I've been going back to it. I've been going back. I'm still grinding. I'm still finding the special stages. And I'm finally going to World 3, and I'm planning to put a little bit of time this weekend. It's just that's one of those games perfect for the Switch in a sense that it's a pick up and play game. You play for a little bit, and then you're done with it, and then you come back to it when you're ready. So it's a good game. It's a good game, and I'm happy for them. I mean, if they're expanding, maybe like you said, maybe they're gonna have other Nintendo IPs down the road. Maybe they'll make a tactics game for Splatoon. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as me, I already posted the first game, the first video of the introduction world before you start going to World 1, 2, 3, and 4 and complete the game. So that's something that I will be doing. But I really the game deserves its time, and it has a lot of things because you did say that once you went on your business trip, you actually went back to worlds that you had already beaten. And there were like additional sections and secrets that you were able to find. So the game has a lot of content. And it seems like it's going to be a good maybe like 30 hours or more.
I think it'll be more, Caliones, because I think I put in 25 hours and I'm still not on World 3.
Okay, so yeah, if you're one of those people like Dantes that he needs to find everything, especially when it comes to platinums, it's going to take you a long time. So it's going to be something maybe 40 hours or even more, and that's great, and even more so because next year they're going to be releasing additional content for the game. So I'm very excited about the possibilities of this. So they already released new weapons. They're going to have new stages, and then they're going to have an expanded storyline. So I'm really looking forward to it and see how they continue expanding it. And that's probably another thing why Ubisoft Milan, the studio, is getting bigger because not only do they want to work on that additional content for the game, but they also probably want to start working on a sequel or a similar game with a different property. So if we see something else from Ubisoft Milan, do you think it's going to be a sequel to Mario and Rabbids, or do you think it's going to be a new IP that they're going to tackle?
I think it could be a Nintendo IP. I'll go with that. It'll be a Nintendo IP. Maybe the same type of game, but maybe instead of Mario's, like I said jokingly, but now it makes sense. Maybe with Splatoon. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll make sense. But yeah, going over to our last piece of news, and this is from Nintendo, and Nintendo is closing the Wii Shop channel in 2019. So it is October 2017. By 2019, they're going to close the Wii Shop channel, and we're talking about the Wii, not the Wii U. So
yep.
That means that their WiiWare, Virtual Console games, downloading different Wii channels, and even the Wii U transfer tool. So for those people that never transfer the content over to the Wii U, all of those things are gonna stop. So I mean, if you do have a little more than a year before they stop it completely, but it's not gonna work anymore in 2019. So it was a really good run by the Wii. The Wii made by far Nintendo the most money out of any other console ever made, and the Switch is trying to get to that level. So we'll see how the Switch does. But so far, I mean, it's a lot better than the Wii U sales wise, of course. And it's kind of like a miracle because Nintendo was going on a nosedive. They were going to like smartphone games, but the Switch was able to put him over the top again. But the Wii was the one that made Nintendo the most money and made them the most profitable. So it's an end of an era, and that we're going to be saying goodbye. So your thoughts on it?
No, I think the only thing is that Nintendo, I wish they would have planned this better. Like, there's a lot of games a lot of people bought, and you cannot re-download, or if they're going to get stuck on the Wii, right? And, at least with Xbox and PlayStation, whatever download that you had, it stays with your account. So you can re-download it later on, right? So that's the only part that I wish Nintendo would have thought better. But, hey, the Wii Virtual Console was way better than the Wii U's and the Switch, of course. But, the Wii Virtual Console was awesome. I mean, you had games like Mario RPG, to clarify, which just came out of the Super NES Mini on that console. Everybody was like asking for it, and they made it happen with Square. And at that time, the relationship with Square and Nintendo wasn't as good as it is now. So it was a surprise when we got Super Mario RPG down to the Virtual Console. So that shows you how good games. And I bought a couple of games there. I bought Wonder Boy. I bought, of course, Super Mario World. I bought, Super Mario RPG. So there was a lot of good games that I bought, and the Virtual Console was cool. The Wii was a good console. A lot of people give shit to the Wii, and they said, oh, the Wii is the reason Nintendo sucks now. I thought the Wii was a great console. The Wii gave me one of the best RPGs of all time, and gave me a couple of good RPGs in Xenoblade Chronicles, The Last Story, and Pandora's Tower. Gave me 2 of the best Mario 3D platformer games of all time, which was Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Gave me Metroid Prime 3, and gave me Metroid Prime Collection with the Wii controller, which it's great for shooters. The Wii controller is great for shooters. It gave me Resident Evil 4, the better edition, because, again, the Wii mode controller made Resident Evil 4 better to play with. And it gave me New Super Mario Brothers. I love 2D Mario games. It gave me 2 good Zelda games, right? So it gave me Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. I don't know. I don't know why people say, and got good third-party support. Again, there was a lot of shovelware, I know, but you people did not support it. No More Heroes and Mad World and games like that. Okami was a lot of people forget this. Okami is a great game, and it was originally an exclusive for the Wii before Bully. They have to put it on
Bully
the
was
other
another
system.
one.
Excuse me?
Bully,
yeah. Go ahead, Caliones.
No, but okay, I'll say this. The Wii had a great life, a great run, except for the last year or two where it kind of had like no games coming out.
I agree.
So but I believe that there was only one thing that the console needed to make it.
HD.
Yes, HD. If it would have had HDMI support for 720p or even 1080, but at least 720p, if it would have been HD, the life would have been a lot longer, that's something that it missed greatly.
I still hate Nintendo for that, because when I play, sorry to say that, but when I play on my emulator, my Dolphin, and I play Xenoblade Chronicles on my PC, and you're like, oh shit, I wish the Wii was this. When you play Mario Galaxy 2 on the Dolphin, you're like, oh shit, the artistic direction of the games in the Nintendo is so good that you wish it was all HD from the Wii generation. But I'm with you. Yeah, I agree. HD is what he's missing. Anyway, Caliones, we ran out of news today.
And we're right at the 1 hour mark.
I like it. That's our goal. We're going to try to hit 1 hour for Force In Unison live. But let's end today the show. Let's do our closing rigmarole. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Here we go. I want to thank everybody for joining us at Force In Unison Live, Ep.7, every Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern Time. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment so you can make these 2 crazy MFs happy. Also, please remember that we do have a Nintendo podcast called the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast. Remember, you can download that podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. Rate us over there so you can show up some love. Also, remember, we do have a small Facebook page called Force In Unison Gaming. See, I said it right this time. Anyway, and finally, and Dantes says, finally go to chiguerosnews.com and give some love and clicks to my boy Caliones. With all that said, boom, let's end the show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Have a good night, everyone.